I have some really big news. My son is going to become my daughter. I already have one, a real one, but he will be a real one too once all the work is done. I was always afraid my kids would be regular, ordinary, with regular, ordinary lives, but not this way, not with this happening. They are not going to be having regular, ordinary lives. Not that my daughter is doing anything out of the ordinary, like writing a best-selling novel or discovering a cure for something, but she will have a sister that was once her brother, and she's going to have to wrap her head around that. And it may be genetic. So she's going to have to take a good look at her own brood. She has 2 kids already, and maybe one of them isn't the boy or girl that she gave birth to. Not to brag, but I do think I've handled this very well. All my friends say they're amazed at how well I've handled this. They say that they would have had a nervous breakdown or needed to go on medication or into therapy at the very least, but, well, I have had help from thousands of people, some of which I'll never meet. When he first told us about this, I went online and read everything I could about it. You would be amazed at how much there is out there about this. The blogs, the chat rooms, people sharing their stories, giving tips and helpful hints, posting pictures before, after, and during. I could do nothing all day but read about this. It was very comforting. We're not alone. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a disease. It's a natural occurrence. And all the while he was telling us about what he was going to do, his father and I kept going over my memories of him, looking at this piece and that piece, and it did all add up. I mean, not that I ever found him in my clothes or wearing my jewelry or giving my lipstick a try, but it was there. But it was very subtle, like one of those Where's Waldo drawings or illustrations, I guess you'd call them. It was right there in front of you, but you couldn't see it, so you stopped looking, and that's when you saw it. Well, I can't say what it was, but it was there. And like the morning sun, it did come up, and I did see. I'd always had this nagging feeling about him. Like a headache, you know. I mean, not pounding or a big ache or pronounced or anything, but it was there, and now it was gone. And it's like him saying, this is the aspirin I needed. Well, not to brag, but I had stepped up to the plate and got right down to business. Just like when I got married and took the oath, for better or for worse. I think parents should make a pledge like that to their kids. Sign something so it's right there in front of you. Maybe we do when we first look them in the eyes, but maybe it should be more concrete in black and white, so you know what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to behave. Because God knows it's easy when he's walking across that stage about to be entered into the honor society to shout out, him, that one, he's ours. Well, it's not so easy when he sits you down and he says he's got something big to discuss with you. And you know it's not about a girl, and maybe she's pregnant because there isn't a girl, and there never has been. And he's not the kind to play the scene. Or maybe he is, and we just didn't know about it, like we didn't know about this. Well, it's not so easy when he says, I was born in the wrong body. I was meant to be a girl, and I'm going to become one. Then you don't feel so much like shouting, him, that one's ours. But you have to, because he hasn't murdered anyone. Well, maybe in a way he has, only he's going to go on living just as someone else. But we didn't cry and scream and pull our hair out and vomit like those people in the movies do when they get a piece of news, overwhelming news that nothing in life has prepared them for. And they can't say, oh, this again? How did I get through this the last time? And you know that you did. But all the while he was talking to us, I kept thinking of those words, in good times and in bad times. And I thought to myself, but this is a good time. It would have been a bad time if he couldn't do something about this and had to live a frustrated life. And that if he couldn't tell us about it, that would have been worse. Or if he showed up at the holidays as Joan instead of John. And well, actually, I was going to name him Joan if he had been born a girl and in the right body. Anyway. And what was his father going to do or say about it? I mean, he was going to do what he was going to do, whatever we had to say or not. But after a while, he said, well, you've always been a good boy. I guess now you'll be a good girl. After a while in the car, he said he didn't like to think about it because of what would happen down there, as he said, and then shuddered. But I thought to myself, well, we had done a good job as parents. We'd gotten him off to a good start. We'd sent him to college. I mean, he's a tax attorney. And I don't think any of his clients are going to care whether, as long as she gets them a good tax return. There'll be some adjusting, for sure. But still, I can't help wondering if it's something that I did while I was pregnant. Cigarette, glass of wine, some ingredients, some additive in the food. I even asked him, I said, did I do something? And he, oh so sweet, said, no, you've done everything perfectly, especially now. Well, that helped us both. But all the while I keep wondering, how did this happen? But it's just as well that he can do something about it and live the life as he was meant to be. But still, I can't help worrying. I mean, will he be alone? Will people be mean to him? Will they call her names? Will they beat her up because they don't understand her and somehow she frightens them? Will he get married? Will he meet someone? Will someone love him? I guess these have always been my worries and fears, but this has just brought them all up again, like when he was little. Went off to school for the first time alone. I was always afraid every time the phone rang that there was the police with some awful news. Or the school calling and asking me where he was. Oh, well, I guess this has just brought them all up again. All those first times. Only new ones. Like me giving him fashion tips. Not that I didn't give him fashion tips before, but that was about ties, suits and ties. But now it's about skirts and blouses and jewelry. And he's given a few to me. I have this lipstick that he really likes, so I gave it to him. And frankly, it looks better on him than it does on me. And the other day he had on this blouse that I thought was really cute, so he told me where he got it. Now, this is something that would not happen with his sister. If I like something, she doesn't. If I say she looks cute and this or that, well, you can bet she's never going to wear that again, at least not in my presence. But Joan, she needs a little guidance. And I'm only too happy to give assist. To be needed again, like when they were little. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Who would have thought at this age I'd be raising a kid again?